Yes, God. Yes, as you can see, we're in the summertime, and the snow is almost completely gone. You can see there's some bit of snow up there, still melting. But that's the rock, and that's the trees, and that's the grass growing from the rock, or the dead, or the thing that doesn't, the thing that doesn't move, the land. So, as that one being you, the land is the body, the dead. So people of old used to understand the meaning of life, and they understood everything in and understand the way of life. It's just people fell off from paradise. They left the Garden of Eden, which is the land. They left the land, and they left working with the land, or working with Eve, with Mother Nature, or evolving or evolution with Mother Nature, to working against the land, or against Mother Nature. Mother Nature gives birth to these trees, and they give us all sorts of useful things, like to keep us moving in this world, so we can have a good experience. Today, a question was asked on the Facebook about person asked me something like, which people are lost. He was asking me, which people are lost because of lack of knowledge. You see, you as a human being all these things you studied at school, all these experiences, mirroring other people, like being a doctor, a nurse, a carpenter, all these skills that you've developed to experience this life. And some people are serving, or in the serving industry, or whatever you do to serve other people, or even serve yourself at some point, which I mean serve your body to get something, and not you. You are that is a skill, that is an experience you are having. So it can be whichever you want it to be. You can be anything you want to be, if you get yourself in the right mind and get the right knowledge. So, being lack of knowledge, I'm going to bring it to understanding how not to be a slave. Because if you lack knowledge, you are a slave to whichever you serve. Let me clarify what slave is. A slave, this word has gotten people shaking, or looking at it as some people look at it as a bad thing, or an evil thing, or an evil word. But there's no such thing as an evil word. It's just what people do. Just like the saying that this world is a very dangerous, or is a bad world, because to live in. There's that saying that this is a very dangerous world. The world is not dangerous. It's the humans that are dangerous. The humans have become so dangerous because when someone is lost and disconnected, they become so aggressive, knowing or unknowing. They become terror, or terrify other people. Slave doesn't have knowledge. A slave does not have knowledge. The slave has a skill. Is having a skill. It's an experience, but serving something or someone for that experience. Meaning they are not free gods. You don't know to differentiate between what is best for you and what is not best for you, what is good for you or what is not good for you. You don't have that choice. And the word slave, if you look in your dictionaries, they might put it like different words, but if you really look in a dictionary, slave, it just means a servant or serving, a server. A server is a slave, a person who serves other people or serves other things like if you serve money, if you serve for other humans, or if you serve for other animals, you're slaving to serve for other people. But you don't serve yourself because you don't have the knowledge you don't know where the ledge is, so you don't serve yourself. You don't take care of you don't know thyself. That's why you're a slave. And the word comes from a group of people. It's a European thing. I don't want to put that, but it's already out there. But it's what people from that part of the world, Europe and or what you call the Middle East, all up there, but mostly Europe. The people who came from there, they had other people who used to work in Russia. They are called the Slavians. The Slavians or the Slavs or the slaves. It's just they used to be servants, or they used in those times they used to be. It's a group of people who were taken advantage and discriminated against because of their lack of knowledge. They are not knowing, so they were put in places. I guess you can say even so it became a word because they were it's considered to be that they were one of the first peoples, the Slavs, to have this this word slave said to them, because it's just their name. It's Slav is a short form for Slavs or slaves. It's a slave or Slavs or Slavi. And there is, of course, these same people moved all over the globe, but they are servants, porters, entertainers, and all sorts of people like this. They started out also not being, given the respect or given the opportunity, the knowledge, the know-how to move in life, to have a good life. All they wanted was to be in this life and enjoy it. But again, there's also, like here where I am right now in the Northwest Territory, there's another, again, a group of people. You can call them tribes or communities. They are called the Slavies. That's why there's a place called here Great Slave Lake. If you hear about that, Great Slave Lake, some people, the way they hear the words, it's the spell. It doesn't matter how you look at it. The word has no evil or has no good or bad with it. It's just a word. And when that word is given power, but is given, for some people, it's given, it reminds them of bad experience, and for some people, it reminds them of good experience. Or in this case, they had to change the word from people who are serving people, the slaves. That's why you serve the slaves, and the Slavies. They are all over the all over the world, mostly North America and Europe, and South and Asia, around the Russian and Mongolia, where they came from, in the Mongolians, or the Mongol hordes, or the Genghis Khans of the Far East, the people who fought and almost almost annihilated the so-called Roman Empire, put it in and brought terror, like from Attila the Hun, who destroyed the European rule, and for one time, for portion of the historical documents, they ruled that part of the world with their horses and bows, where they were shooting bows from the horses, and they were very accurate what do you call them, archers. They are good, accurate archers, or people who were good using the bow and arrow. They were very good at it on the back of the horse. And those same people are, some of them, that tribes who are called the Slavies, and they moved all over Russia, all over the world, and they came to North America and all before even. So they settled all around here. The North America is just a link to Russia. It has in Canada, it links to Russia. In case you don't know your history, your geography, look at it carefully. They traveled there. So, and now a little bit of history there. Yes, a slave is a servant, or a server, meaning they work for someone or something. They don't work for themselves. They don't have the knowledge to empower them, to give that light within, that energy within, to give it the power. And it's a very, very dangerous thing, because some of them don't even know that they're slaves until if you take away their jobs. They don't, because a job is also another word for a slave, for slaving. So see, that's why you hear some people are not comfortable staying at home in this corona, or Sienna, or the sun virus, whatever they want to, it's called these days, this COVID-19. Some people don't like to stay home and be with their family, because they miss work. They miss being at work and doing whatever, whatever they do at work, because basically work is slavery. You are just slaving for someone else. You need to be working. You need to slave yourself. And of course, most people think that when they work very much, they will retire. They will rest when they are dead, or they will rest when they get enough and put it in the retirement plan, and then see the world. It's it's a nice tale, but dead man tell no tales. So if you work yourself to old king, to oldom, to become old, you can't reach there in the future and enjoy it. Otherwise, you'll be having what they call a midlife crisis, whereby you are enjoying the things what you are supposed to enjoy when you are young. You're going back to your childhood memory, where you stopped when you were a child, that you are continuing to that childhood behavior, which some people enjoy, like to think that they enjoy it. But a human being is supposed to gradually get enlightened, and higher. The older you get, the more enlightened you're supposed to be. But some people, the older they get, the more they want to stay in darkness, or in their bodies, or their demon side, or their downside where they cannot have love for nature and the creation that gave life to them. So lack of knowledge is a very bad thing, because if you don't have knowledge, like it says in Latin, it's like the Roman Empire said that let that one who wants to be fooled be fooled. You know, if you want to be fooled, let them be fooled, because they want it. It's like people around magic or a magic trick or a spell. People sitting and listening to some story which has no evidence, or which has no enlightenment or visual that it's ever even existed. It has no explanation. They just follow it like blindly, like a blind man, you know. And in the world of a blind man, the one-eyed man is the king, you know. Even when you have one eye, in the world of blind people, you are the king, because you can see for them, you can tell them what to do, you know. And you should all recess and find out what are you slave to, you know. Because once, if you are the opposite of being slave or working for someone or something, is working for you, is knowing thyself. Who am I? Why do I do what I do? Who programmed this program to me? Who gave me this program? And why? Because everything that happens when you are being programmed or fear, it happens because you've been put in a state of fear, and you're being programmed, or you're put in an emotional loving roller coaster where you feel you fall over heels for someone or something, you know, like people loving money, and they don't or people loving a woman, or loving a priest, or loving a father and then or a mother, and they blindly follow them to their destruction, whereby they don't use their own mind, you know, following these so-called leaders. Remember, your God is a jealous God, meaning you are a jealous God. Whatever the body gets itself into, whatever program they install in that body, someone hurts the body or plants a seed in your ears and says something in your ears, and you take it, and you follow these people or this other thing or human, whatever you want to see it through. You, the one inside, is a jealous God. Is not going to, if you want to be led astray, it will lead you astray, because it doesn't look at it like say you've been beaten when you're a kid, and it becomes very or you've been raped as a kid, because it happens most of you, if you've been to Asia, like India, Pakistan, even the Middle East, in the Arab Emirates, they rape a lot of boys and girls, but mostly boys. And these boys these little boys turn out to be men, and they do the same thing they perform the same pedophilia or the same abuse on on other little boys. Why do they do that? Because they did not understand what happened to them. They are refusing to recognize what happened to them. They don't want to know what happened to them. You see, whatever bad thing happens to you, you have to ask, or whatever good thing or bad thing, you have to ask, where did this thing come from? Why do I do this? You know, why do I like boys, or why do I like money, or why do I love or whatever? What do you like serving? You know, what do you like to go to do what you do not why do you do what you don't understand? You know, because if you don't understand something, you will suffer for it. You know, that's why addictions or druggies or crack addicts, they don't want to understand. They don't want to understand where they got that behavior. It's just that the sooner you want to understand what's happening with you, that's the better your enlightenment, your programmer. You see, I tell people, why I want to tell you one thing. If there's anything that I've come to study, I've been studying humans for a long time. Since I was a kid, I paid attention to a human being in their dark side, in the darkness when it's too dark, and in their light when they are very enlightened on something. You know, yes, you can be enlightened about money and how to make it. You're very good at it. But can you live without it? You know, who are you? You have to remember, can I live without this thing? If that thing is controlling you, that means if you can't live without it, it is a problem. It's an addiction. You are a slave to that thing. You know. And what I mean is to evaluate. You can say, okay, I can have it for now, but I sure in my heart and bones, if anything comes up, I will just leave it. You see, because you are here to experience. You're not here to hoard or hold things or get respect or get prestige or all these forms that you've been put up in the world. You see, I've said it before, all your leaders or all the people you have put to lead you, or to say that they are leading you, basically they are the shepherds and you are the sheep, or they are the one-eyed man or the one-eyed person. You are the blind. They are leading you. These are your leaders. They lead you to this place. You know, and you're giving them this power, giving them this great, giving them yourself, giving the body to them. You enslaved yourself to them, to these people or this thing. It can be drugs, it can be human, it can be an animal, whatever. Some people have dogs, crazy, that they would say, I don't know what happened. I leave $1 million or $1 trillion. I'll leave my money to my dog. They have done it, or to my cat. You know, it's ridiculous. It's for some people it's hard to comprehend or to understand. But you too find what thing that you are holding on to, that you think that you can't. Even poverty is a problem. If you can't get out of this idea that being poor is who I am, you know, you have to ask yourself, what can't I live without? That's your problem. that is your master. If you can't live without it, it's your master, or he is your master. You know, these leaders, or these people you call leaders leading you, they'll lead you in a very dangerous place. Most of them never went to school, or most of them never went to study. That's why all religions or governments are the same. It's the same thing. Religion and government, or religion and it's politics. And people who are ruling or running you, who are leading you, are psychopaths. They are people who have taken your energy that you put out and depowered you and made you a sheep, made you a blind man, a blind person. They'll tell you jump, you jump. They'll tell you run, you run. They say bend over, you bend over. Kiss this, you kiss that. You have a problem. That means if you can't stand up for yourself and say that no, I can't do that. I can live without that. I can live without you. I can't live without you. That's a big problem. But if you say I can live without you, you don't exist until I make you exist. In what you are as a God, you make decision based on what is best for you. Gods, or a God, you are an energy. So the best thing that can ever happen to you is die. But you are here to experience. So if you live in fear, that experience is ruined. Now someone is using, or what they say, controlling you. They tell you to study all sorts of magazines, study all sorts of books, well as they are wasting or destroying your time. Your time is nothing to them, but their time is something to you. You want to make sure you be there on time. The appointment, go, I have a doctor appointment, I have a nurse appointment. If you worry about appointments, that means you are a slave. If you say, you know what, I can live with my toothache, or I can take it out myself. I'm sick, okay, I will I'll try some herbs, or I'll tell if I don't get to see a doctor, I don't really need to see a doctor, unless I'm really broken my hand or something. But either way, pain is an imaginary. It's something that's in your head. It's in your program. Your body does feel pain, yes, but if you concentrate on that pain, it will destroy you. That's why you see people who are afraid of dying. Are the people who are always praying not to die, or people who are asking that they don't die. So a slave is a it's a good thing when it's happening, when you are doing it yourself, when you are serving yourself, when you are in control of yourself, when you know what not to do. That's why you become the master. The brain inside, once the master sits on the throne, it gives you information. It's like unseen information, like everything, any idea people have come up with, you are capable of coming up with it. See? It's just that you are not thinking. Either you're very comfortable in your imprisonment or in your dumbness or your devilness, that you don't take the time to think. It's very simple. Look at the dog. People like to say, oh, we love dogs here. People love dogs. They kiss them on the mouth, you know. And they always, some people say, oh, the dogs are a man's best friend. Which good mother or good parents would like to see someone come into their house, snatch or take their child and take them away and raise it? Raise this child without them, and these parents live happy, and they say, oh, we have our child, he went there, he went to a good parent. They went to, we didn't know about it, but oh, it's okay, they got snatched. They're probably living a good life, and you know, we are very happy about it. There is no such thing. When you bring life into this world, you feel that connection, that creativity, that creation that happened, and you feel that you are entitled, but that it is yours. But the truth is, you brought life, and you want to see it grow and become so beautiful and light up, you know. So because you are humans, or you can speak the language. Remember that Tower of Babel, where people came together and they started building this tower? Well, this is a good analogy for it. Look at it this way. This is a bunch of people coming from different tribes all over the world, and they come in one place. Don't speak the same language. They're all speaking different languages. They're building, one is building one part is building the bottom part, another one is building the second floor, the other one is building the third floor, the other one fifth floor, the other tribe. They're speaking different languages. They are babbling. That's what Babel means, you're babbling, blah, blah, blah. Because I don't understand your language. So that's why when slavery came, when people African or black or dark descent, when the European descended on the black or dark continent, and so many of them, because it's not like there were no blacks in where they were from. They were blacks of those parts of that world. But when they came in this where they were concentrated in big numbers, and they're so dumbed down, like they don't have the knowledge, they decided to take them because they could not speak their language. When the people are saying, what are you doing to me, in their language, for them, they are listening, babbling. Say, like, okay, take it, snatch it, take it in the ship. Let's go. It will work for us, because you don't understand the language. You don't understand your language, you know. And European, mostly the Spanish, the French, the Spanish, or the Spanish, the English, and the French were doing this because they didn't understand your language. They didn't understand what you are saying in pain, or they didn't understand if you're feeling pain, or you are just saying that it's itchy, or they didn't understand what you're saying. So that's what's happened. The power of Babel is not. So the people broke apart. They left and did other things because no one was speaking the language. If they didn't understand itself, the only ones that left, they went and they started their own thing where they could speak their own languages, where they could understand themselves. And the Tower of Babel was not completed because they did not speak the same language. That's why when they came to take you, or to take these dark people, or Negroes, or Negro, they took them and they got him to do the jobs that they didn't want to do. Or they started doing the work that they did not want to do. And they did not want to pay anybody for it. So it is basically economy. It was they are looking at something that's for free. That's why they build machines, because machines don't talk. They will do the work and they won't strike. They won't give them hardship. They don't have to look for them. The machine is always sitting there. And then you think it's an economy. Like what's his name? Malcolm X. Malcolm X was asking the so-called white or the so-called European to leave the Negroes or the black people to their own economy, to do their own thing, and give them a land, let them on their own on the piece of land, and let them do what they want, because they are saying that they want to work together. He said, we'll work together with you, but leave us and do our own community, because we don't understand you and you don't want to understand us. Because it's all about understanding. They don't understand what the people. If someone doesn't want to understand you, it's very, very dangerous. That means they don't look at you as a human. The same thing with that dog. The dog does not understand you, so it's working out of fear. It's being there, you thinking that it's protecting you. It's also trying to protect itself, because you are the one who feeds it. You feed this dog, so that's why it has to be there with you. You took it away from, you're the only creator it knows, because you took it away from its younging, from its birth parents. But these same people are the ones that love to eat other animals, like chickens, cows, dogs, horses, cats, lions, tigers. You name it, they'll eat anything, but not their dog. And when they hear, there's people who eat dogs, what nasty people these are, what type of human? And then you hear, you say, what? They're eating it's meat, isn't it? Why you care? Why do you care what they're eating when you are enslaving an animal and thinking that it loves me, it kisses me on the lip, we share the same bed? I don't care if you sleep with this dog, or you have intercourse, or whatever relationship you have with this animal. You have enslaved it. It has no other creature it knows. It doesn't know. Sometimes it will act out of instinct, run around, and they'll put it on chains. If it bites someone, they put it down, they kill it, because it tasted human blood. You decide. Humans are the ones who decide who lives and who dies. But all these gods have gotten an experience, be it a bird in the sky or the rock or the insect in the ground. They have an experience they have to live. Now, there are some cleaners or some animals specific made for those to be taken by those other creatures. They're meant to be eaten by other creatures. You don't have canine. You don't have pointy teeth, the one that grab the throat and make sure it. You see, when a lion takes another animal's life, it holds on the throat and makes sure that that light in that energy leaves this animal in peace. It leaves it in calmness, so that when it starts to eat, it doesn't take in the unwanted. It is designed to eat that animal. You are not designed to eat that animal. But you can't be with other humans, and so you imprison the human that doesn't speak your language, or you don't understand. That's why a long time ago, we were the dogs, we were the animals who they used to put on the head when they kill a black person or some kind of Negro. They put their head on the what type of sick, twisted gods were these? And then you say there is no such thing as demon. Vlad the Impaler, people they call the Dracula in Pennsylvania or in Europe. He impaled people by pushing rods and they're behind, and then put them up hanging. That is the devil. That's the dark side of God. That's the negative side of God. But people would like to imagine that, oh, some funny guy, some people, some imaginary God is going to come and save them from this impaler. No, other men went there, other people who found that is unacceptable. You can't be impaling other people and putting them on. They had to fight to get their rights. The same thing with Malcolm X was trying to, he fought for the people who had. You have to wake up and realize that you are being dumb. You're not getting the knowledge. Is affecting the whole creation. And it's a big population of people. Groups have made themselves little groups, and that started becoming racism against other groups. Because racism is a part of group that says that, oh, we want to race against the other group. We don't want the other group to have this. We don't want the other group to have this. We want to have that. We want to be this. So that's why you've made the rich, the poor, the bad, the good. The European, the African, the Slavey, the Portuguese, the Spanish, the English. These are all groups. These are words that you put yourself to separate from the God, because you are one piece, you are one light, you are one thing, but you have separated and made yourselves little groups instead of working together. I know sometimes you see darkness and then you can't apprehend it. People act out of fear. So what you have to remember is, how do I get out of this ignorance? How do I stop ignoring who I am? Because the one that is inside empowers all the bad things that have happened to you. That's why you see when a child is grown up in the army, soldier, they will become, the killing is something that is part of them now. They will use it because it's being empowered by that emotion, that training, that experience. So they will use that thing to move through life. If a child was brought up fighting, or the child was brought up being beaten, they will think that this is beating other people is the way of life. I have to fight every time but it's you. The sooner you can understand who you are and stop wanting to be in a group, because in the group, they are psychopaths. Most of human beings are narcissists. But with the narcissists, there is a psychopath. They are psychopaths. Narcissists are... It's the thing that happened to you, and you nurture it and you nurse it until it becomes something bad. Psychopaths are not born. That's a big lie. A psycho is not born, or a narcissist is not born. They are made. A child is born and all it understands is nothing until you, parents or guardians or guards who have been guiding this, or godparents, whatever, guide it to bring it up in a very abusive or in a very unsettling society. They learn to do these things. It's just a few of them learn to ignore it and just say, you know what? I'll always go walk underneath other people so I don't get seen. But you see what's going on, and you not speaking out or you not saying something makes you even more dangerous. So yes, so-called black or Negro, so-called white or Mzungu, whatever, you need to understand these little groups that you have made up in this world, the so-called elite. Of course, the so-called businessmen, the so-called lawyers. These are all societies. These are people, groups of people who have come together to basically, now we have the so-called bankers. That's the new group, the group that they call bankers. They basically they are being given a group of bankers who are running all the world's financial world. Do you think they are going to come and help you, give you the money that they have made, so that they have been trying to make all this time? No. They want you to make that money for them. They want to hold on to that money because it has become an addiction to them. It has become a problem. Only a few of them who come and realize it, that they will come and say something to the world. But remember, when you have an addiction, you will do anything, and I mean anything in your power, in your capability, to keep it from being taken away. That's why when you try to tell these people and look at them that, oh, we want money too, we want their money, what the rich are taking everything. You've given them already the power. They're rich, they're taking everything, and you are poor, and they don't feel sorry for you. And the one inside you, the jealous God inside you, will start pushing up to come and claim what you have made. The body will try to do its best to get what it needs, even if it means to destroy others. The Rothschild, or the so-called the Rockefellers, the Red Shield, they funded all these wars that the people are funding. Who do you think funds them? And who do you think is funding all these problems in the world? They need money. These weapons in the world need people to kill yourselves. These weapons to kill each other, they are funded by the same people. The gun, the same people.